The photo with me?
Yeah.
Oh, I think we did it.
You're live. Oh, okay.
Holy
hey,
mole.
everybody.
This has been quite the morning. We're
man.
underprepared for this morning. It's okay. We're here. We want to take a quick photo for Instagram. Can you take a photo with me? Wait. Hey, can you get in this? I wanted to post on Instagram that we're here.
Nicole's gonna post that to let people know that we're online. If you guys
funny
are, if you're here, let us know in the chat where you tune in from.
Where are you tuning in from? Oh, I'm so excited. It's hot. Can I turn on that fan?
Yeah.
I feel like we are emanating heat. We've been racing around trying to make sure we have everything set up for today because we're just a little last minute right now. One sec. Let me turn on the fan.
So yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. It's been a bit of a chaotic morning. We were putting all together all the numbers, and then we're like, well, maybe if we want to do this live with some numbers, we should try to set up some sort of way where everybody could see the numbers that we're looking at.
Yeah.
And
we suck and we couldn't figure it out.
We tried to figure out all the streaming stuff. We're just not streamers,
God.
you know. Like,
no.
I think we're starting to get used to it. It's our second ever live.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's.
We're regretting not figuring this out a little earlier because we really wanted to be able to show just show you the data and send have it in front of you guys. So Miko does have it on his phone.
I do have it on my phone.
So maybe we'll be able to show you. I don't know if it's gonna work, but anyways, we could try.
So I got a few people commenting. So hey everybody, they got the over 50s backpackers. We got Chris from Texas and Martin Richards from Bristol. I've seen you Martin comment a couple times. Great to see you here.
Yeah.
And got people from Toronto. So
Toronto.
This is awesome.
Feels close to our home.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put this
and
on
we
Instagram.
also got Prashant, I think we're pronouncing that right. Hopefully
awesome.
We are. Yeah, great to see you all.
Oh, Dallas, Texas. Hey Peter.
And we got Peter. Awesome.
Awesome. Peter's one of our channel members. Nice to see you,
Peter.
Okay, I'm just gonna stick this link up and then I'm sorry, I'll give you back my full attention.
Cool.
How do I do this? Link. There we go.
Okay. So thanks everyone for joining us today. What we wanted to do was do almost like a follow-up video from our last video and why. Sorry if I keep moving this around because I feel like I'm in the center. But
it's okay. I don't mind being
in the center.
I know. I wondered that. I was setting up the camera and I'm like, I literally was moving the couch because it seemed uncentered. Strange,
okay, that
right?
looks better.
I don't know, whatever.
Can you guys still hear us okay, even though the fan is on? It might be putting some extra noise on this, but hopefully that's good. So anyways, what else?
Hong Kong, Victoria.
Yeah, a lot of people. That's awesome.
Oh, you guys are from all over. That is so cool. We're always worried that when we choose the time for the live that it'll really impact who can come. So it's really nice to see you guys are from all over the world. Because that's just a big concern of ours is what's the timing, you know? Awesome.
So we got coffee.
It sounds decent.
We also got coffees, you know, obviously. You gotta be ready for this live. Also, I just want to say that Sunil here was saying that they watched our Delhi video and they figured out where to find the Tims. So
you're welcome.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with our Delhi video, one of the things we did was go around different parts of Delhi, like New Delhi, Old Delhi, and we went to, I think it was Gurugam. I think it was the name.
I think you're right.
It was like Cyber City, and there, this very modern, high tech kind of part of the city, we found ourselves at Tim Hortons. So that was the first Tim Hortons we've had in a long time.
We hadn't had a Tim's in a year and something. I think at that point it was very, very welcomed.
So that was good. I gotta get my good Tim's. Okay, no, you go ahead. You go do that. So what I was saying earlier is that what we're doing with this live is doing more of a follow-up video from our last video about money and travel, because there's some questions there that didn't really fit into the timeline of the video. So I'll be honest with you, that video, when we filmed it, we answered a whole bunch of questions. Yeah. I think it was 51 minutes.
52 minutes or something. Yeah, it was almost an hour. And then it was long. Who's going to watch a 52-minute video about money? So we axed it.
Yeah, so we're like, well, let's just trim it down to something a bit more reasonable. It still ended up becoming 30 minutes. Yeah. And, we felt like we couldn't answer a lot of the questions. So we thought, okay, maybe why don't we just do a live and just answer those questions during the live. It's a little simpler for us to put together, or you'd think, even after this wording.
No, and we also just there's a lot of questions that we got that were just super niche and kind of specific, or I just didn't really fit the topic that we were going for in the last video. And so we thought we'll just go on here and then we can kind of answer whatever you guys have as well. Because there seem to be lots of just I guess, really specific questions about how we afford to travel, what the budget is to travel, how we make money to travel, how like what is the cost to travel, what do we spend in each place, all of those sorts of things. So we're hoping we can kind of chat through all of that today. We, like Miko said, we gathered like our data because we do track every single dollar that we spend. We use an app called Travel Spend. If you're gonna check out an app for keeping track of like costs abroad, we love it. We've been using it. We actually downloaded it, I want to say a year and a half before we left, and we started tracking our like what we were spending preparing to travel full time, and it was even awesome for that. And then as we've been on the road, it's been wonderful. So, anyways, highly recommend Travel Spend if you need a good app for tracking your budgets. We still use it to this day. So because we have all that data, we can just export it all in a nice spreadsheet. And depending on how long you guys have been following our channel, watching stuff, what videos you've picked through as you have found us, you may have seen a video that we made after the first year of our travels, all about how much it costs us to travel. And so another reason that we decided to just come on here and do this as a live, kind of talk about money and travel, is because that video, like lots of people have had questions about, well, what was the budget after that? Like you've been on the road for a lot longer now. What has that looked like? And I think the people who that video doesn't, it's not like it's got a lot of views. We knew it's a tiny little market who wants to know the cost of a whole year of travel.
Full-time travel.
It's not a lot of people, but I think the people who did get to see it, it sounds like they got a lot of value from it. And so we thought we'd at least have the chance to come on here and like just expand on that a little bit more. So if you guys have any questions, we're just gonna like spout numbers and share some info with you and answer questions that we tried to answer before but couldn't. But just put stuff in the chat.
Put stuff in the chat.
We can like answer questions that come up for you.
But maybe so I think maybe how we should do this. We didn't really get a chance to talk about this, but maybe we should talk a little bit of I think the biggest thing that we took away from the last questions that we couldn't answer was all about our budget. And I think maybe that first thing we'll do is kind of cover how much of or what our budget was in year 2 travel and beyond. And like that could be the first part of this live, and then the second part, which obviously we'll talk about the numbers and we'll talk about some insights that we literally just found out when we added the numbers right now
this morning.
And I think after that we can kind of answer some more questions, right? So
yeah.
So if you guys
I do see a question already from Martin. So.
Yeah, okay. But if you guys do have questions, try your best to maybe save it till later, because I don't want it to get buried in the chat. Unless it's relevant to exactly what we're talking about now. But I do want to do like an open floor questions. Otherwise, we're never gonna get through this budget.
Okay. I will accept your decision on the category or how we're doing this. The layout of our live.
So really quickly, like Nicole said, we did do a first year of travel and the cost of the first year of travel video. And that is like, what is that, a year old now? A couple of years old?
Yeah, 2 years old.
Yeah, I mean, the thumbnail has it all.
Yeah, the thumbnail tells you exactly how much we spent.
So if you want to know what we spent on our first year of travel, it's in the video, and it's exactly
$37,476 US for that first year for the two of us. And so you can literally, I'll share it. Maybe I can share it in the thingy. We actually have published, because of that video, we organized the data.
No way. I just figured out you could share a screen.
Can you?
I think so.
No, that would be so good.
Okay. But you keep talking.
I was going to say that, gosh, I feel like such a noobs. We're like, we can share our screen on YouTube live.
We're ridiculous. Like, are we even
we call
on the internet?
So what I was going to say is what we can share with you guys if you want it, if you haven't seen it in the past before, is we do have we actually shared every dollar that we spent in that first year. We shared that Excel spreadsheet publicly. It's been public for 2 years.
Yeah, I think the link is broken.
So. No, we fixed it. I have it here. I'm positive we fixed it. I fixed it. And it has been available for quite some time. So let me just quickly, I'm going to share it to you so you can share it on here, because we have so many computers up, you guys. So here's the link, love. Just check it, and then if you can send it over the chat here.
What is that?
That is the that's all the budgets for the very first year. So if you just kind of want to see like how we categorize our money, what this looks like, this is like what Excel. This one here. This is what Excel gives you. Just check it first, but this is what travel spend gives us when we would go to like export our information, our money information. And I saw a question come up here from somebody. Are the numbers going to be in USD for this video? Yes. So we're Canadian, but the numbers for today, let's talk in US dollars, because I think most people around the world know how their currency is in comparison to USD. You can usually do the math yourself in your head.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's the link to if you want to see, like, that's the first year. Okay. So that's not this data. We didn't perfect it well enough to have it ready for public viewing. So we can share the screen with you, but we can't share all the data with you. I think we're pretty sure we can share the screen with you. Is that what you want to do?
For this guy? I do, but haven't figured it out.
Where did everyone go?
Okay. But really quickly, I want to say that the first year of travel, so that was we started, I think, March 2021, and that is that covered, let's just to recap, $37,000-ish, $38,000 for one full year of travel for two people. And in that time, I feel like
countries we went to.
Yeah, how many we did?
Is this them?
Yeah, just scroll over past it. Yeah, 16. We did 16 different countries. So, and I guess in the order that we went, we started in Nepal and we did Everest Base Camp. Then we did Sri Lanka for quite some time.
4 months
because we were doing a lot of slow travel. We flew to the US very quickly, and then we flew back to far Eastern Europe to Georgia. Then we did Georgia, Armenia, Turkey.
Yep. Flew to Jordan. And then Israel, Palestine. Oh yeah, Malta.
Malta for a day, and then Egypt.
Egypt.
Mexico.
We
went back to Canada for Christmas.
Didn't count that in the budget.
Because
that would be weird.
That blew the budget.
Well, it's not a good representation of travel. So, and then what did we do?
And then
Argentina. And there's a little bit of Chile. Oh, and Bolivia. Oh, and a little bit of Ecuador in that budget. So the new budget picks up at Ecuador. So the numbers that we're going to share with you now, they're actually going to cover 15 months, roughly, of travel. And the reason for that is because we had about 15 months of this version of travel. Can you not share it, or are you just going to do your phone?
I just want to, I don't know. It's
not
that
terrible.
Super low tech to you, everybody?
Low tech. I mean, it's better than I expected, given we're just like showing our camera to the screen. But what was I saying? Oh, it's going to cover about 15 months of travel because our travel style changed at about I guess that would be total of like 27-month mark. So we really wanted to keep this really consistent for that travel style of like hopping kind of country to country, new country every month or 2 or 3. Oh, Maureen says I can't see that, Miko. Well, so I think that's a no. Like, if people really are on cell phones, that's probably really hard.
You should really make streaming software more.
He did really try really hard to get a streaming software this morning that would like allow us to share, and it wasn't working. I thought you figured it out. You said you thought you figured it out.
Yeah, I know, but I can't see us.
Okay, well that's okay. Yeah. I can pull us up here if you want to see us. Can I? I think I can. Yeah, I can join the live as a person, and then I can see us so that we can make sure we're not
but we won't be visible.
Wait, what?
We won't be visible if I share the screen.
Oh, it stops showing us to everybody too. So. Okay, well, I mean, we can just pop it up occasionally. No?
Well, hang on.
Okay. But if people are watching the phone, this is so small, honey.
Can everybody? No, nobody can see that.
I feel like there's a teacher in the class who's like 75 and they're still teaching and they shouldn't be anymore.
Okay. You know what?
So someone says they got the last spreadsheet. So that's great. You got the spreadsheet for the first year if you want to take a look, if that interests you. Okay. Well, can't see it. So that's a no-go, honey.
Okay, let me see if I can.
Good effort.
Well, let's try something else.
Are we visible right now? Who's visible? Okay, sorry guys. Hang on. We're going to see if we can share the data with you. If not, we'll just go through it. It's okay. What are we doing?
Can I share? I can share the entire screen.
Okay. And then we can share it. We can pull us up and them up.
I don't know. Would that be good?
As long as it's okay that people see our chat. I think that everyone sees the chat, right?
Everybody sees the chat.
Cool. So then I think it's okay. Someone says even if they zoom in, it's still blurry. So thanks for the idea, but it's not going to work.
What if I... Hang on. I just
showed yeah. They said that it's a 1080p streaming. Can we stream it?
Oh my gosh.
Are you guys seeing what we're seeing? Oh, honey.
Stop sharing. Okay.
Okay.
That was not good.
Okay. Let's just leave this alone. Sorry, guys.
Sorry for that trip to the
It was
future.
like Inception.
That was.
Okay, we're just gonna share the information with you verbally. Okay, that's where we're at.
I think no. Hang on.
Ella says they can see and hear us. Hi, Ella. I will.
I will, and I hope you guys are doing well.
That's
Miss
awesome.
you.
Aww. Okay, you good if we just chat it through?
Well, yeah, I guess. I think I could share it. Seriously.
Love.
No. I can do it. Hang on. Everybody, we're gonna do this together. If I can find our here, if I share this.
You guys are. If you all have the patience of saints, if you're still on this live, I'm sorry. Thanks for being with us.
Boom.
Did you do it? No way.
Oh, and we're still in it.
You're a genius. How'd you do that?
I just literally shared the screen.
Okay. So after all that, we
awesome.
figured it out. Well, we did. Nice job, honey. If you Excel window in the background. Oh, perfect. Peter was watching. Thanks, Peter. He's like ready. Tech support.
That's amazing. Okay.
You did it.
So yeah, Peter's one of our members, and he was talking to us about the streaming platforms.
Yes.
So we were trying to get OBS set up, and then we were trying to get
another one.
Another StreamYard, and then it was just not possible in the time frame. So
we were struggling.
But we got it. We got an alternative worked out.
Okay. So we're on. We're good, right? You're good?
I think so.
Okay. So where do we want to start? Where does everyone want to start with this data? Do we want to just talk about the like the total cost? Should we just jump into that?
I mean, okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, why don't we just do that?
Yeah, sure. We can just talk about like the full cost, so the additional 15 months. Perfect. People are saying it's good. Thanks, guys. Okay. Ooh, bang the dash. Cool.
So I don't know. Do I want to give it all away? No, it's so okay. So what do we cover in this data? So we're gonna show you guys the country that we visited, and then the days spent in that country, and then we've broken it by accommodations, and then we've shown how much we spent in each of those categories. Sorry, broken up into categories. I think I said accommodations.
And these categories are actually how we categorize it in the travel spend app that we track everything on. So this is exactly like just what it shows in our travel spend. And we just we've decided on these categories ourselves. Yeah. So.
And we also like provided a daily average of what was some stuff or some of these for the categories, because I thought it was kind of interesting. So,
and I guess just to quickly go through that, most of the categories are super self-explanatory. I think the only ones that aren't are maybe data is phone data. That's like the phone plans that we buy, anything like that. And then you can see here we split out food and drinks versus groceries, and that's because food and drinks is when we actually go out and like buy something at a restaurant, food or drink at a restaurant, whereas groceries are what we usually do. And interestingly, I would say we eat out. Like if you look at our food and drinks, like here in Ecuador, food and drinks cost right here, it says $357 for 45 days, whereas groceries are $478. And my guess, because I would say on average, we buy our own groceries and eat in about 80% of the time. So that 20% of the time is costing us to eat, that 20% of the time to eat out, which is the food and drinks budget, is costing us like almost the same as all the groceries for, in this case, 45 days. So just what that means.
Something to bear in mind when you look at these numbers is that we travel as like long-term travelers, so kind of like as nomads. So we're not always doing a lot of activities like all the time. We're not rushing to go out and see every restaurant. Nicole and I are doing longer term Airbnb stays. Yeah. That's usually outside of the touristy area, so it's a little bit more affordable.
Usually not too much, because like we need to be able to cabin for an affordable rate or whatever. Yeah.
And we obviously, like as Nicole said, we do a lot more of our own groceries to cut costs. So like we're basically, it's like living abroad temporarily for 45 days in a country.
And this 45 days in Ecuador was probably 6 different spots. I'd say. Maybe 6 different different spots within Ecuador. To give you an idea. And sorry, go ahead. We have some questions about this, but you go ahead.
Sure, but like Ecuador, so $80 a day is actually, I think, a little bit high, because we met up with Nicole's friend and her now husband. And we hung out with them, and we did some like, I think when people visit us, we tend to like
spend a bit more money.
So This is I think a little bit higher than normal
for us.
For us,
had we been on our own the whole time, but they only joined us for 10 days of 45.
Yeah, that's true. But we did the most expensive things.
We did. Like we went out and we saw the Amazon rainforest with them. We went to this place called Baños, so you spend a bit more money on like doing activities. And
we rented like a little four-wheel. Yeah. So with Ecuador in particular, so we did the capital city, and then we quickly with our friends, we quickly made our way to the Amazon, and I think the activities budget there of like $1,000 US.
Yeah,
that's probably a lot of that was the Amazon.
Yeah, I think that was like 300 a person or something. Which like 4 days.
Which totally was worth it. It was amazing. It was really, really good. So other than that, like if you look at our daily average for accommodation, this is pretty common for us. $23 US. And I know a lot of when you look at hotels,
I'm noticing Peter just mentioned about this is an interesting point. So Peter says that shows in the activity cost for Ecuador versus Peru. Yeah, you can see on there the Peru activities are only showing up as $204. I will add a caveat to that. The biggest activity we did in Peru was we did the Salcante trek up to Machu Picchu. And so that $204 was actually probably almost like a bunch of that would have been the tickets into Machu Picchu, but we actually were sponsored for our hike up to the Salcante. So that saved us, I want to say probably $1,000. I think it was about $500 each or something like that. So that's an interesting point. There are a couple spots throughout our data where we can point it out if you want, where we did like sponsored trips. So something would have cost us a bit more, but in exchange for our video content, we didn't pay anything because we were working on the trip, right? We go on these cool things, and it's awesome, but we're filming it all. And so in exchange, we usually don't pay for those typically.
Yeah.
So good point, Peter.
That is a great point.
Yeah. There's also, can I ask the questions about accommodation?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. So someone says, can you explain the style of accommodation you stay in per country? So great question. Our priorities when we choose accommodations is first and foremost cost. We obviously try to keep that low because this is the easy place for us to save a good chunk of money as accommodation. We almost always go off of Airbnb. I'd say about 80-85% of the time we're booking on Airbnb. Anything longer than a couple of days, we almost always do Airbnb. If it's a 1 or 2 night stay, it might be booking.com. But generally it's Airbnbs because Airbnb offers the best variety for places that are almost like proper living spots. And that's our goal. We're cooking our meals. We're working most of the time. We're on our computers.
We like to have
YouTube videos. Yeah,
we like to have like a desk.
Yeah, I need some decent working setup space.
Not even necessarily a desk, like a dining table with chairs is hard to come by in hotels. So
we really need a fridge at a minimum so we can hold a couple of groceries. So generally that's the style. And then we often will stay for usually at least a week, but it does depend. We like to stay a week if we can. Usually we get a deal on Airbnb if we stay a week. There's often a weekly discount. So that's the kind of style.
Yeah.
And then somebody asks, were there any sponsored accommodations or was this all self-funded? So
actually we don't.
The only sponsored accommodation we ever have is when we are like on a trip with someone.
Yeah.
So like that hike on the Salcante.
Yeah, when we're doing the Salcante, and we're staying at different like domes and different kind of places, that's like a sponsored accommodation.
And that's as part of the trip. But we actually never reach out to hotels or anything like that for like, we'll stay at your place and do a video for free. We never do that.
Personally, I don't really like them. Like I don't like doing them.
We don't like making that kind of content. We tried it a couple times and we were like, this is it's just not worth it.
It's like going to your house and like having it as a place of business because you have to capture, like show the place off in a really nice way and washroom and the kitchen. I'd rather just go home and like be home,
and again we really like the like apartment style that you get at like Airbnb. We don't really like to stay at hotels, and hotels are the ones who do those kinds of collaborations. So that just really isn't our jam.
Some of these places are not that flattering, so
or Airbnb. Miko and I are happy to like live with a little less comfort if it means we get like a decent working space and a fridge and a stove. We're happy with that stuff.
So I'm gonna just keep moving on.
Yeah, we want to show you guys the state. Obviously, I don't want to stick your forever, but
so Peru, amazing country. We spent 2 months there, and like obviously a big thing that we did was the Salcante trek.
Yeah, we did with my folks. My parents came with us. If you've seen that video,
they might be on the live as well. So hi.
Oh man,
and that was So if you're looking at the activities part of Peru, like that is not representative of what you might find because our Salcante trek, which was probably our biggest expense, was funded.
so that's actually an interesting point. Joseph Master says in the chat that they're headed to Machu Picchu later this year, and it's 1,600. I think our little heart is in the way. For something of us. For 3 of us.
For 3 of us.
Yeah, that sounds right. It was about 500 US, I thought, for us to do this Alcante had we wanted to. Yeah. And then we actually did pay for the tickets on the top of Machu Picchu, that entry ticket. We pay for that separately. So it's not a cheap. That's not a cheap trip.
There's different ways.
Totally worth it.
Totally worth it. Yeah, there's different ways to do it. So we did the Salcante, which is a 4-day or 5-day hike to Machu Picchu.
I don't even
remember. 4-day hike, and the 5th day was going to Machu Picchu. Yeah. But you can do the Inca Trail, which is a day shorter, or you can just go to Machu Picchu and not do any of the hiking, and then enjoy that, which is totally worth it as well.
Yeah.
So there's different ways to make it more affordable.
Totally.
If you're interested though, the Salcante, you can actually also do that by yourself.
Yeah, and we definitely would have looked at doing that. We wanted to do it with my folks, and so then it was fun to do it as like a group with
not have to worry about
just like let's go, and like my parents were on a holiday and we just took the time off, besides the fact that we were filming, but so that was wonderful to do it that way. But you can just do it on your own, and tent and stuff. So had we been on our own, I actually would have said we would have done it that way because of the cost. Actually, funny enough, like had my parents not come, I think we would have just done it solo.
Yeah.
Anyway, to keep costs a lot lower. So that is honestly is our travel style.
I saw online that you could do the Salcante for like $200 US a person.
If you do it solo.
If you do it by yourself.
I can see that.
So just if you are interested and are willing, it's such a great place. So really interesting. I will add up here. So food and drink, we spent $798 for the 2 months, and then groceries $572. So combined is like $1,300 US. But what I tend to look at is these two numbers. So food and drink and groceries together is like $24
a day.
And
which is a good chunk of our budget.
Which is but bear in mind that's for 2 people.
Yeah, that's true. I also will say, that food and drinks budget again is probably because we had family come visit us. Yeah. And so we went out to groceries a lot more for the time that we were together. Whereas again, Miko and I typically do grocery shopping and then cook our own meals. So that definitely is a way if you're looking for ways to like try and keep your budget down. Even when we, if you're only going on a holiday, let's say for a couple of weeks, and you do want to keep that budget low, go to the grocery store and grabbing like even just your breakfast things. If you have a little mini fridge and you can get cereal and milk, like it's also a nice way to start the day. I hate going out first thing in the morning and getting breakfast every single day of a holiday. So that's just a way that we show that.
And
sorry. Trying to read comments as I do this.
I'll just also add like as we go here. So like flights, $141. I think we took 1 flight in Peru.
This should have also included the flight to Peru, though.
No, we walked to Peru from Ecuador. We crossed the border over.
We walked
because a lot of our travels through Peru was actually busing. So the transportation budget here you can see is a lot higher.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, that flights category for each one of these countries we're going to chat about, it does include the flight to that country. That's how we organized this.
I wouldn't necessarily use our flight budget as if you're looking at doing some research, because most of the time our flights are either short hops from adjacent countries or internal / domestic. So these flights, like you'll see as we go through this, the flights budget is not that high. But I think if you're starting on a trip from Canada, or North America, Europe, like your flights budget is probably gonna be way higher.
Yeah. Can you show the India's?
Okay, I'm gonna keep going down.
Yeah. Okay, India will be in here. Don't worry.
Oh yeah.
India's in here.
Colombia. Sorry, if it's really loud, there's a
big truck outside.
They'll be gone soon.
It'll leave soon.
Oh.
It comes every day. This truck at this time. I'm pretty sure. It's loud. Sorry, guys.
Let's see, Colombia.
I'd say there's nothing super. Accommodation. Wow, why is accommodation huge? 47 days. Oh no, that's not huge. It's $25 a day.
Oh yeah.
You know what? I will say, I do remember this about Colombia. South America in general was amazing for the cost of accommodation. We could get these really wonderful little Airbnbs, like full apartments, really well sized for the 2 of us, for anywhere, around 25 US a day, 30 US a day. We had really nice accommodation costs in Colombia. Or in honestly all of South America.
Ecuador, I think, was really affordable to travel through. Peru, not so much, mainly because there's so much to do in Peru. Colombia, however, is also like really, really affordable if you're doing busing, if you're doing Airbnbs, and the food there was so affordable. I mean, look at some of these restaurants or like the groceries.
$13 a day.
$13 plus $8, so $21 a day.
Yeah, and
for
so
the two of us to eat.
An average of $70 a day, all in. And to give you, I guess, another idea of like where our money goes in terms of activities and stuff, you could see there's not a lot here. And that's because we had a question at one point that we didn't answer on our money video, something about like how do you keep your costs down. And I think the big thing for us, it is in the activities department. We love to try and find free things to do. So many cities have incredible free things to do. Like trying to find, we were just with these people from New York a couple of nights ago, and they were like, "Have you guys been in New York?" We're like, "Yeah, we've been in New York." They said, "What'd you do?" I'm like, "Well, everything free." And they were like, "What does there have to do for free in New York?" And we start chatting with them about the stuff we did. And they're like, "Yeah, I guess that's all free." And I think that was actually a good indication to me that like there is a lot of free stuff to do in cities.
Well, yeah, when you break it down about the actual activities part and you separate away transportation, accommodation, a lot of places, a lot of things that you can do is available, like at very low cost for like a small entrance fee or is free.
Yeah, especially when you're in a new country, because we're there for the culture and like the experience,
But what I will add to what Nicole's saying is that we're not necessarily always like looking for the free things. I think we are, but a lot of times like the best things to do, and for example in Medellin, are free.
Yeah,
so,
like
you go around
Telefrico up to a cool viewpoint. Yeah, it costs you $2.
Do Comuna 13, and all that's
pay for like it's a free walking tour and you just tip. So
our activities cost is like almost like really just like the Uber ride to go to these cool places and just walk around.
That'll be in transportation.
True.
Okay, let's keep moving. I think. Okay, so $70 a day on average for Colombia. We were there for 47 days. Gives you a decent idea.
Yeah, the flights I remember was a bit more expensive.
And that's because we went out of order. Again, we had friends visit us. Like it was just the way that our family and friends visited us in South America. Our route was a little weird, and so we flew from Peru. Right, we flew from Peru to Colombia. So it was just that it was actually just a long flight. That could have been a lot cheaper for us, but maybe a bit more of a like a real representation of people who are going on holiday to Colombia.
Someone quickly asked cost for visas and vaccinations. So visas,
excellent question.
I actually didn't break out visas. I probably should have.
I know visas are in our general, our category with general. That's where we type in our visa costs. We don't have a ton of visa costs. Honestly,
there's
we're
only one country
that's
really bad for visas.
Yes, okay, one that's really bad.
Wait, just tell you about that later.
The story. Oh my god!
But
generally, as Canadians, we're very fortunate. We didn't need visas for any of these countries in South America. I think that Americans have a harder time getting into Bolivia, and I remember getting questions about that. But as Canadians, I don't think we needed a visa, like for a paid Peru, visa. Sorry, for any of these countries.
But even if we do have to do a paid visa, it's only
it's usually $20
to $50 maximum.
50. The exception, I guess, is India, which is our next country here. Yeah. We did need to get a visa for India. It was difficult to get a visa for India because the Canada and India government like stuff, it's just it's not great right now. And so the result is trying to get a tourist visa for India as a Canadian is challenging.
Yeah.
We actually had to go to the
India embassy in
Lima, Peru, to get our visas to go to India. And we had to like give them our passports and just wait for them for a week and all this fun stuff. I don't remember the cost. I could probably find it.
It was $100 US. It was like $102 per person.
It was a weird number.
Because I had like $100 and
we had to get $2. Yeah, so they only accepted USD.
Like, why not just make it $100 back?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the visas aren't really a huge cost, even for the amount of time that we're spending in these places. But
generally
for the India visa, I think it was a 1-year multi-entry visa.
It was a wonderful, yeah.
And it's different now because of
things
a
have
lot of
changed
political situations between Canada and India.
Mm-hmm.
But even back then, it was tough because they were not doing visa on arrival.
That was our problem.
We had to do this.
Yes, I think if you're American or maybe Australian or I don't know from the UK or I don't know, I think it's easier to get in. But for us as Canadians, it was challenging.
So
someone does say, I thought Canadian passports only allowed for 30 days, or is it different for those specific countries? I'm not too sure which. I'm not too sure. Sorry, go ahead.
So the Canadian passport, it'll vary. So you'll either get a 30-day, depending on the country, you can get a 30-day visa, you can get a 60-day visa or a 90-day visa. It just really depends on the specific country.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I'm trying to listen to Morgan says, scroll a little further. We're blocking the total daily price. I think I might have.
see,
Oh, wait. I think I'm good. Yeah, I got it. 74. There you go.
Okay.
Sorry. Good call.
Thank you. Thanks, Morgan.
Sorry, did you answer that question? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, so it differs, like
country to country.
I remember it being pretty generous.
Lots of South America was easy. I think maybe Bolivia was 30 days. I don't remember. We weren't there long enough.
Yeah.
It's not in this data sheet. It's in the last year's data sheet, so you can go look at that. We sent you the link if you want to see that.
So,
India. So 55 days in India. We get a lot of questions of India. Excuse me, sorry. I think a lot of people have this idea that India is like a really, really, really affordable country to travel in. And while I think that can be true, you could do it on a shoestring budget if you wanted to. Yeah. You could easily spend big money in India and have a super lavish, comfy, cozy, ritzy experience. We didn't do that. No. But we didn't do shoestring either. We never do shoestring budget.
We're like I think we're somewhere in between budget and mid-range. Actually, I don't even
I think we're in budget.
We're definitely, you know what? Not even.
I'm worried you're too far from the mic. Sorry, I'm just worried about it.
Some days I like to think we can be a bit more mid-range, but maybe not.
No, I don't think so.
But India was affordable in a lot of ways.
It was.
The flight, by the way, is one way for Nicola and I.
Yeah.
From
Colombia.
That was
a huge flight, right? Yeah. So that's eating a ton of this budget. Accommodation budget. Wow, accommodation budget was good.
We killed it.
How? Did we do anything in India that was sponsored? We didn't.
Just so you know, like this is like our first reaction to some of these.
Yeah, numbers. I haven't seen a lot of these. So the flights budget is eating a huge chunk of this. And I will say, besides this, transportation, you see the transportation there is $458, which is huge, I think. Peter says maybe resizing the daily average column would help so it's not hidden behind the camera video source. Excellent idea.
Great.
Thank you very much. Okay, you know what? I think we're gonna be good. Thank you, Peter.
Thanks, Peter.
Genius. So the transportation cost within India was high because we took a lot of trains, and we are last minute planners. Yeah. So a lot of our trains were booked days in advance, which is actually really challenging in India. Do not recommend. If you're going to India, try to book your trains well ahead of time. Yeah. The other problem that we had there is we were there during a big festival of Diwali. And so the train transportation was very expensive because everyone was traveling. And so I'd say that's why this transportation is higher than probably an average.
I also think it's more affordable because when we did the trains and the bookings, we really did it as like a local. We had an Indian phone number. We created Indian accounts online with their train system, and we did that in a way that we were able to buy tickets for like only a few dollars sometimes, or $30 for like big train rides. I'm just saying because the alternative I think a lot of people do with India is get either private transfers or get that.
We didn't do any of that.
Yeah, when you do those private transfers and get that book, I know that drives up the cost, but I remember
we paid some of those train rides.
Like
$100.
Right.
They were. We went huge distances. India is a giant country, right? But
we also paid for like not third class. It was like we paid. I don't know if it was like did a couple first.
We did first and second class only. Yeah.
But then the first class, even that was like $40 or something from Delhi to Agra or something like that.
Yeah, Delhi to Agra. That was only a short train ride. But so anyway.
So what I'm saying is
we're reminiscing as we talk about this.
if you take the time to figure out how to book trains as a local in India, you can save a lot of money that way. You can actually get a lot more flexibility with the tiers of the thing. But I think it's challenging. I want to point out something interesting about India on this budget that you'll notice that is different from every other country we've been to, which is that here the food and drinks budget is like more than double the groceries budget. And that's because eating out in India. Oh my gosh, I didn't notice that. Eating out in India is very accessible. They have all these apps that deliver stuff to your house as well. It's really affordable to eat out. And we ate tons of food stalls just on the streets. Yeah. We loved that kind of food. Indian food is, I think, possibly my favorite food in the whole world. Like, it's just, the food's amazing. So we ate out a ton to really try the local food as much as we could. And we also found it incredibly difficult to find Airbnbs or any accommodations that had kitchens in India. That was really difficult. And so that also meant that we just couldn't cook very often. So not in our budget. We could have got places to cook, but it would have cost us like $60 a night or more, and we didn't want to pay that. So as you can see here, the food and drinks budget is higher, and that's just to account for eating out. Or we also ordered a lot of food.
Yeah,
like,
we or
on,
ordering in, yeah, because
like,
it was so accessible. Was
like
it?
the
What
not
was the
Uber
app?
Eats. I forgot the name.
It wasn't Grab, was it?
No, I don't
I
think
forget.
so.
I'm
It was
sorry.
like the Uber Eats version or the Skip the Dishes version of
In India.
in India.
The food delivery service in
It
India.
was really good.
Someone asked, what do you like most in India? The food.
The food is really good.
Maybe
Yeah,
the food.
I think if I delete this, I just want to check something. If I delete, actually, hang on. If our $74 a day for India, like that seems high, but if you take out like the flight cost, like $54 a day for 2 people, I think that's pretty good.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think we did pretty well.
Go India.
Yeah.
Oh, can't
So
come back one day.
it's a good country a huge country to visit.
Oh, and you can do everything. You can spend a lifetime
and-
there, I swear.
And we did so if you're just so you know, we did Delhi. We did the Golden Triangle, which is Delhi, Agra, which is where the Taj Mahal is, and Jaipur. And then we did Varanasi, Calcutta, Mumbai, and then Goa
and Kerala. And then we flew out from Kerala.
Yeah.
So we
And
hit
then,
a good chunk of the country, but we didn't go north.
Yeah.
So
And the next
highly
country,
recommend.
because we were down south, is
Sri
Sri Lanka.
Lanka.
Sri Lanka's probably our favorite.
Our favorite country in the world.
Country. Everybody
That
always
we've
asks,
ever been to.
what's your favorite country? And I think Sri Lanka
Still takes the cake.
takes the cake because of the fact that in year 1 we spent 4 months in Sri Lanka.
Someone says Zomato and Swiggy.
Oh yeah, those were the ones. Yeah.
those are the food delivery apps in India.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Zomato,
much.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you so
Highly
much.
recommend Swiggy.
Yeah, Swiggy was great. Zomato, perfect.
So Sri Lanka, we spent 4 months in Sri Lanka in the first year, and we loved it so much that we had to revisit it in the second year.
Yeah.
So we spent another 33 days there, and that was mainly to do some filming, to do lots of YouTube videos in Sri Lanka because we just had a blast there.
And we never filmed the first time.
Yeah.
So I guess these costs are pretty self-explanatory. An average of $79 a day.
Yeah. Flights were pretty affordable because we were literally like it was a 1-hour flight from India.
We went from South India,
Kerala to Colombo.
Remember we went we went another place in India. We flew
Chennai.
east first. Yeah, we flew east first. Yeah. Anyways. What else is here that we need to talk about? I don't think too much. Transportation. We rented a scooter for the whole 33 days. So this is the cost of everything. Yeah. We literally picked it up the day after we arrived and dropped it off the day before we left for the airport.
So you can see the daily average for transportation was $6 a day. That's about
Hey, right. Two Mad Explorers. Nice to have you here.
Nice to have you guys.
Thanks for joining. Sorry, what did you say?
I was gonna say the transportation $6 a day for a scooter.
Oh, it was amazing.
That's about right.
I think it is often a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a little bit more if you're not, because we did like a long-term thing. And we did, part of it was funded because we were doing a promotion for them.
Yeah, not a lot.
But if you go to Sri Lanka, you can definitely rent scooters for, $10 a day.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
I think.
And you can see here we were spending $23 per night on accommodation there, which again is pretty average. And I think I want to say, when someone asked what kind of accommodations do we stay in, I should have clarified that we almost never stay in shared accommodations. So like I don't know if I said that. Yeah, like because we're working, like we're doing YouTube. So we like never ever share space unless it's incredibly expensive.
Yeah, it's only a handful of times we did a hostel.
Yeah.
Not that we liked hostels before when we were younger. And like we were also just straight up traveling, but now like when we're working, and like cooking, it's a bit more annoying to share space.
Yeah,
so
you're spending like your whole day oftentimes inside when we're working. So yeah. Not great.
Really loved Sri Lanka. I mean, a lot of things we did there was just driving around the country. Honestly, look at the activities cost, $159 for a month of activities.
Wow. Like, I wonder what that's even for.
I don't know.
We do surfing.
You literally rent a bike for $6, drive around different places.
Endless entertainment.
Yeah. And the water is free. You can go surfing.
I don't even know what we spent $159 on. Anyway, that's okay. I can't even picture it. We'll keep moving down.
So after that, we went to the Philippines. So the Philippines was 91 days.
$88 on average, though. 91 days. I think we overstayed our visa by a day, according to this math.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, we got the extended visa. Yeah. No.
Okay, so a couple things about the Philippines. If you weren't aware, I'm actually Filipino. I was born in the Philippines, but I grew up in Canada. So we
made a big boo-boo.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
The visa. Hey, no, I was gonna say we spent a lot of time in the Philippines because we were visiting my family, and also Nicole's family joined us. We had a friend from Australia join us as well.
Yes. We only stayed a few days with family. Just if you're wondering about the accommodation costs, that is actually representative of probably 88 days. I think we stayed 2 nights with family. Your family. The actual days we slept in your family. I'm just looking at the accommodation costs. That is like I think we stayed 2 nights with family. So just so you know, that accommodation cost is actually very
pretty
accurate.
accurate. But then we also spent quite a bit more on accommodation when your family was
Mi
developing.
familia. Yes, we
And
did.
that drove up the price. And
Mhm.
I mean, it was an amazing place in Coron. We had this amazing Airbnb in Coron. It was
amazing.
so good.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, but so here's the issue with the Philippines. The visa, does it even show up?
It's
here?
in general. No, sorry, it's in general.
486.
That's
probably like pretty accurate for like what we paid for the visa.
Oh,
So the thing is, because like, so I'm a Canadian citizen, I have a Canadian passport, but going to the Philippines, you could get about like buy-in visa. So for a former Filipino like myself, I could have gone to the Philippines for free
for a year,
for up to a year, and then it also extends to my spouse, to Nicole. However, at the time, we didn't know that was really a thing when we crossed through Manila Airport.
Sorry about that very loud truck. He's leaving now.
Yeah.
That's good.
Hopefully you can still hear me. But the Philippines visa, what we ended up doing is basically, instead of like paying for a visa as if I was like a local, we ended up paying for visas as if we were foreigners. And that's expensive. Really added up.
So if you want to visit Philippines for any length of time, really take a look at your visa costs, because they're very expensive. Yeah, as Canadians, we paid like, I want to say it was like at least $300 US each, or sorry, total. I think it was around $150 to $200 of that 486 you see in general, for the visas to end up being. I think we actually could have stayed for as long as 6 months in the end. Yeah. But just keep an eye on that. We now know that we can go for free for a year, but we just did it.
I mean, I still to be tested, because I think I need to prove my former like citizenship in the Philippines.
And he doesn't speak the language. This is
and I don't speak the language, so it's harder to like just tell them like,
I'm from here,
if I could
and
speak
they're like
Tagalog or Filipino, it's easier for me to explain. But because I speak like only English no accent, and I have a harder time showing that I was born in the Philippines.
I was from here.
Yeah, I promise. Yeah, no, doesn't really count. Someone asked, so Allison asked, how many different locations in the Philippines did you stay? So we did Manila
a bunch of times.
A month.
I feel like we're in Manila so many times.
Too long.
There's
a lot of traffic in
working
Manila.
a lot and stuff. Yeah, we did Manila, Coron, El Nido. We just kept extending in El Nido. We were there for at least 3 weeks. Oh my gosh, El Nido's amazing.
And then we went to Boracay. And then we went to like where my family's from, in Bacolod. And then we went to Cebu. Yeah.
And we did Malboal and Cebu City on Cebu Island.
So what is that?
I don't know how many that was.
Manila, Coron, El Nido, Boracay, Bacolod, and then Cebu. So 6 different places. And Malboal. So yeah.
Yeah, we were there for like 5 days. That counts. Yeah. So 6 different places.
Yeah, 6. Yeah.
Oh, and on a boat for 3 days. Yeah.
And on a boat for 3 days.
We did the boat ride from Coron to El Nido for 3 days, which was top notch.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a couple things that I'd love to say about the Philippines is that Philippines was actually more expensive than I thought it was going to be.
Way more expensive than we thought it was going to be.
For what we thought was the general pricing for Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
I felt like Philippines was a bit more higher.
100%.
Unless you're like really willing to just go super basic hostel.
Yeah. Which we didn't want
on accommodations, and also food. So food was also tough in certain spots. Manila was pretty expensive in some ways.
Yeah.
And food, a lot of it was fast food.
We also do a lot of a lot of it's fast. Filipino food is difficult. Yeah. Yeah, there's so many fast food everywhere in Philippines.
I love the Philippines.
Yeah, of course. Filipino food's super, super meat heavy. And so I'm just like not a huge meat lover. So it just gets old after a while. And then their other option besides like typical Filipino food is often fast food. Like that American influence is strong in the Philippines. And so it's a ton of fast food chains, which is like unideal.
Yeah. And it's
health.
Yeah. And then when you go to like places like Corona or El Nido, then like the more like variety, like, say premium food, but like the more like tourist friendly food, let's call it, is a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
But like,
which is fine and understandable. It's just that after a while, I wanted some of that. Like I wanted some more salads and some more veggies and some more fruit in my food. But to do that, then you're spending money at tourist restaurants.
But man, it's a beautiful place. Like we've been to a lot of places in Southeast Asia now, and I gotta say the Philippines, like maybe I'm biased, but like probably the best beaches.
Somebody said that. Prashant says Filipino beaches is the best beaches. Totally agree with you, 100%. We think the Philippines has the best beaches in the world that we've seen.
Yeah, food and drinks, groceries, probably a little higher. Flights, also, I just will mention if you're planning a trip to the Philippines, understand how you're going between islands, because for the fact that the country is an archipelago of 7,000 plus islands, it's difficult to go around. Yeah,
take a lot of intro flights and ferries, but sorry, I want to move through this last little bit faster. Do you mind? It's been a while. I want to move on to the questions.
Oh yeah. Okay, so Singapore. We spent 4 days in Singapore just because of the budget. As you can see, you spent $170 a day.
That's I know, because accommodation. It's only $45, which honestly was good. But this is a hostel, so this is a $45 a day hostel. We slept in like looked like a little spaceship.
Yeah.
With a curtain for a door. Like, it was not nice. But it was to save money on the budget. So here, obviously, activities, food and drinks.
The activities, yeah.
There is a lot of free stuff to do in Singapore. I will say that. To spend only $79 on activities is actually pretty good. When we were like hitting hardcore Singapore, like we did it fast,
amazing country. Like amazing, like
country
place
city.
To visit. Yeah.
Yeah, incredible. But definitely on the pricier end. So $169 a day, and that's on our attempt at a budget.
This is probably pretty fair.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, Malaysia.
Oh. Look at this number. I think this is our most affordable country that we went to, according to this. So 44 days. So it's a decent look, I'd say. 44 days is a respectable number of days. Flights do help. Well, $118. That was nothing. That's because we went from Singapore to Malaysia, right?
No. We crossed by bus. We bused from Singapore to Malaysia, which is like a very easy thing to do.
So that transportation cost of $214, part of that was getting in on the bus.
Yeah. Our flight cost was an internal flight to go from the Perhentians to.
Right.
No,
we bused that.
No, we went from Kuala Lumpur to Langkawi. So in Malaysia, we went Kuala Lumpur to Langkawi to, I think, Penang, and then we did the Perhentian Islands. Sorry, that's the dog. And then and then we left in Kuala Lumpur. I'm gonna close that window.
Okay, yeah, sorry. The neighbors are doing construction on their house. That's just why they've got the trucks coming by and stuff as well. They're like literally scraping the concrete on the house next door. So I think here, it was really affordable. Malaysia is a really affordable country to be in. The one thing that we loved about Malaysia is that they had excellent Airbnb options. Airbnb is really widespread, and there's a ton of like huge high-rise apartment buildings in Kuala Lumpur. And so our daily accommodation costs, you can see they were really good. Because $28 a day even includes like some more expensive experiences on the coast. Like we went to the Perhentians, which is like the Maldives of Malaysia, they call it. Like it's beautiful, it's more expensive, it's more exclusive. Like, so that's even included in there. So really affordable country to go to.
Yeah, you could definitely do Malaysia on a budget, and man, it's good. The food is good.
Food is top notch.
The places are so beautiful.
Yeah, we could have done more. I would say that. I do think that Malaysia, we hunkered down, and I do remember doing a bit more working days than other places. We spent a bit of time in Kuala Lumpur because we found a good apartment with like a gym, and like we had a really nice place to cook. And it had been a while because Philippines was also difficult. We had come from like Philippines, Singapore, Malaysia, and the Philippines wasn't also great for being able to do our own cooking. It was a little harder there in terms of accommodation. So when we got to Kuala Lumpur, we were like, oh, I just felt like we had everything.
I think Kuala Lumpur so far is like my top digital nomad
in Asia. I agree with you.
In South America, it would probably be Colombia. So like Malaysia, like
it's really affordable.
Awesome.
It has everything. Huge.
And I think I gotta say it's probably my favorite. My favorite place to get food because you can get amazing, like authentic, like Indian inspired dishes.
Yeah, Indian food because there's a lot of Indians in Malaysia, so you get great Indian food.
Chinese inspired dishes, and then obviously Malaysian food, and then like the surrounding like Thai food and whatnot. Yeah, it's so good.
It's amazing. So we'll keep moving here.
Japan.
Peter was mentioning that the flight costs are high for 4 days as well. I think that's for Singapore. Yes. Yeah. I think I am curious if you went back to Singapore and took out the flights, like if you took that out, you're at like $125 a day. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
Okay. So, Japan. So next we went to Japan. Japan was an awesome trip.
34 days. We were there longer than we meant to be.
Yeah. So
we meant to leave and go to Vietnam a little earlier, but that didn't work.
Japan is actually way more expensive than this shows.
Yeah.
And a good chunk of that the reason for that is because we stayed actually with my brother and his family.
We stayed with family, and so the
for-
accommodation cost is way lower than it. Like we were
How much were we
probably,
there?
I think we stayed with family for probably like
2 weeks, I think.
at least, because then we were also, yeah, I think it was probably more like 18 to 20 days of accommodation was free because we stayed with family.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind if you're looking at this budget. But we did do a ton of stuff. Like we really we enjoyed ourselves.
Oh yeah.
We definitely could have spent way more money on food. You can get really good affordable food in Japan, and it's still so stinking good because obviously Japanese food is like world renowned, and so we could get really excellent food at a low price. But of course, I'm sure most people probably know, right? You can go to Japan and spend big money on some of the best food in the world. We didn't do that.
I mean, we still had. I think we had a lot of great food and like
incredible food.
Having my brother there, like Joseph might be on this stream, but like he, showed us a lot of different great places.
Yeah, Miko's brother and his wife just like gave us the absolute best like local food scene. Tour over the couple weeks we were with them. We ate the most incredible food.
See, Japan is definitely a more expensive country than we normally visit, but I gotta say that a lot of the places that we visited, Japan is worth the money.
Yeah.
Like the cost that we paid to like hang out in Tokyo, to do Osaka, and like all the other things around that. Like it was great.
It was amazing. And of course you can get around. We did do some internal. Did we do an internal flight?
Yeah, we did. We went
one internal flight, but we
Osaka
also did
Osaka down to Nagasaki.
Yes, and we did the bullet train one time as well. So you can see our transportation costs are almost $500 because we did the bullet train. And Peter says 7-Eleven onigiri. Yeah, that's the thing.
Definitely.
We had so many meals where we just went to the convenience stores and
for
$5 to $10 each, we could get Oh wow! We couldn't cook a lot because we didn't find places that allowed us to cook a lot. So food and drinks is way higher here because it seems silly. Like to cook a meal was obviously it's effortful and work and planning and all those things, but then you could just go to the convenience store and buy great meals for like $5 to $10. Like it just seemed silly to put in all the effort of cooking.
It was
the food's so good.
It was so good.
Yeah, I miss it. Keep moving.
Activities. So I just want to say like activities too. Like we did a lot of sightseeing, obviously in Tokyo and Osaka and Nara and Kyoto and stuff. And then we did like a lot more activities, but I think because we were with my brother and the family, it was a little bit more affordable.
That's true. It could have been definitely more.
We could have definitely spent a lot more in Japan. But amazing.
Mongolia. Okay.
The accident country.
The country we didn't mean to go to, and thank goodness we went because man, this place is cool. I feel like we shouldn't spend too long here. I don't know how many folks are like going to Mongolia, but so 22 days you can see on here, and average of $106 a day. This is a little bit more inexpensive because we got a sponsorship. So our trip to the Gobi Desert, we didn't pay for all of that. So keep that in mind. That would have added money to this. But the rest of it is exactly accurate to anyone going. So average of $106 a day. And I think the takeaway for me from Mongolia was that accommodation was actually really affordable. I loved that. But then activity costs were way higher than we thought. And it was just, go ahead.
Well, just because the country is so big and a lot of times it's difficult to navigate and difficult to get places. And so you have to be buying or you have to either be part of a tour group or, you're renting a car.
So the activities here would include anytime.
Car rentals.
So anytime, even though like, just to make it clear, if you've seen our Mongolia series, you saw us like overlanding, you saw us go on a day trip with a driver, those things we categorize under activities. I know it's kind of also transportation, but we call that an activities cost for us because it's like the experience that we're going for. So that's an activities cost. You can see that's quite high. And that's just because, And then flights are a little high as well. That's because we booked them like 5 days before we left from Japan. That was just an accident and it could have been a lot lower.
Did you say why it was an accident?
No, but we can.
we meant to go to Vietnam and then we fumbled the visa by like a few hours. So we didn't have visas available. Like
technically we actually did it fine, but we relied on Vietnam being very stringent on their timeline.
So we didn't have like approved visas by the time we actually had to board the flight. So we couldn't get on our flight. So then we spent actually a bit more time with my brother in Japan. And we just
5 days later
we spun the globe and thought like, well, if it's this much to go to Vietnam, we might as well pick a different country, because we'd actually be a lot more.
And we'd been to Vietnam before. And so we were like, Mongolia, when are you going to go to Mongolia? Now, I guess. So we did Mongolia. Okay, South Korea we'll do quick.
So South Korea is only 4 days. We didn't do South Korea like obviously the whole country, and it was just kind of a stopover. We were also like a bit of a time schedule, so we couldn't squeeze in South Korea. I know we're gonna definitely have to go back and see this country properly.
We couldn't
squeeze in like a proper South Korea.
Oh,
like
yeah,
visit.
no, we couldn't.
We only
did Seoul.
This is just like
the DMZ.
These 4 days is just Seoul, basically.
And it was expensive.
Well,
so I mean, if you took out flights, we're still at like $160 a day though.
Yeah.
So it was definitely, it's obviously a more expensive country. We knew that going in. We really wanted to see parts of it, but we knew we wouldn't do like the full thing.
This is the fast travel. Like when you travel fast like this, the numbers go up.
It's like Singapore, South Korea.
Yeah.
We do them fast. They're expensive countries, but then it also means a lot of eating out. Like you can see here, obviously $22 in groceries. Like that's probably just a few waters and I don't know, like a granola bar. Because we obviously ate out for everything else, $160. So yeah.
And then don't give away the grand total yet. But the last country, which actually our YouTube channel isn't caught up on yet, is Indonesia.
Yeah.
We spent 24 days there. And like this was
more of a workation for us.
Yeah.
We only have one video here. It is hopefully coming out next Saturday, assuming I can get it done in time. But you can see here, it was also a bit more expensive than I think you could do Indonesia for. And that's because we did awesome stuff and it was more expensive. Like you can see, we spent $1,000 on activities, which is high for us. We did like scuba diving in
multiple times.
We did quite a few scuba dives.
So we went to Bali.
Ubud.
Ubud. And then we flew to the Gili Islands. So we went to Gili.
Is that a flight? Anyway, we went to the Gili Islands.
No.
And then we flew to Flores.
To
do the Komodo. Komodo Islands is our next video. I'm so excited to share with you guys because it was such a cool trip. But it was definitely a more expensive trip. If you don't know the Komodo Islands, you will next Saturday. They're amazing and beautiful. We also scuba dived at Komodo Islands, which we did not film. But it was incredibly expensive. I think it was like over $200 US a person for us to do that. It's one of the best dive sites in the world, and it was worth absolutely every penny. Best dive we've ever done.
Yeah.
Absolutely
I think that's probably the best dive.
Yeah, but it was more expensive for sure. So activities was a large chunk of you can see there, $40 a day on average on activities, which is a lot for us.
Which is good. I mean, you could
worth it.
Yeah, it was definitely worth it. Like you can go to Indonesia and spend like close to nothing. But to really get the most out of it, there's just some activities, some boat tours and whatnot that is just like so incredible.
Yeah. Peter was saying that Indonesia, depending on where you go, can be cheaper than Malaysia. I could totally see that. I could see that if you wanted to do Indonesia on a budget, you could easily half this. I think that's what you're saying, Peter. You could do it so much more affordably. But the visa cost is higher. I don't remember what we paid for our visa, to be honest. But yes, I'm curious now. Yeah, but I do remember having to get one. That's as far as I remember. But that's a really good point. Yeah.
Oh, we got someone here from Mongolia. So,
really?
Cheer.
Oh, I missed
nice
that.
to see you.
So
Hi
cool.
from Mongolia. I gotta say, I'm just backing up a little bit to Mongolia. Like a lot of these countries are like so incredible. Mongolia was one of the few countries that just blew my mind away.
Floored. We are floored. We have such incredible memories in Mongolia. I think it was exactly what we hoped it would be, which is like just different and totally from it came from left field for us.
It's just a different world.
It's exactly what we wanted and needed at the time.
I feel like all the other countries, you kind of have a general idea of what you're getting yourself into, but Mongolia, like you just don't know.
And it was nothing like a place we'd ever been. I think that was the other exceptional thing is it was like we had nothing like, oh, this reminds me of this place. No, there was nothing like Mongolia for us.
Also, Indonesia is also a lot more expensive because I think I bought a suit.
You did buy a suit.
Yeah. And
shopping, that $217 is probably your suit.
Yeah. And then the flights were expensive. We were doing a lot of internal flights. And then we had flying from South Korea to Indonesia and so
it can be way more affordable, like Peter said.
If you're just going to like
Bali for a holiday, you can do it cheap if you wanted to.
Okay, so
where does that bring us, honey?
Bring us to
I've been waiting.
Bum, bum, bum.
Oh, hey, this is a good number. $106 a day on average. Sorry. Yeah. That's really, I think that's decent.
So this total, so if you think back, our first video was our first year of travel was like $37K.
For 12 months of travel.
For 12 months of travel. This is actually more than that. So I have days traveled. I think it's
almost 15 months.
Yeah, I think it's almost 15 months of travel.
Yeah.
So
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. So we actually, I think, did this next year and a
little bit more affordably. You know, somebody had asked about, like, they were curious specifically about kind of year 2 because it was more post-COVID-ish. Because the first year there was still enough restrictions in place for COVID that COVID restrictions were impacting the cost of our travels. We were doing a lot of PCR testing, we were doing a lot of quarantining, and so that really did bump up the cost. And so I think this is interesting. Yeah, that I think a big part of the reduction in cost per day is is probably some COVID costs. Yeah. But also, I would also say flight costs. You know, the flight costs our first year of traveling, just because COVID was still, like, we were still talking about it a lot. Those flight costs were a lot. Whereas I think flight costs here, even though we still managed to do, how many countries are here? 12 countries. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like not terrible. They're more like they're more like normal. I feel like they've normalized a bit in this 15 months of data here. Okay, so that's cool. I like this question. How would you adjust the number for a solo traveler? Such a good question. I think that a solo traveler would probably spend like 65% of what we spend. What do you think?
Yeah, so I mean, the biggest savings for us was really like the amount of the long-term stays and the getting groceries for food.
Sorry, he's saying solo versus double. Okay.
I know. So you can't really, I don't think you can really cut those long-term stays in half and say that's for solo, and maybe similar to the food. So but
you can't do any accommodation in half for solo. That's what I'm saying.
No, I know. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that, like, you're right that it's not exactly in half.
No. But obviously, like, accommodation or activities would go down by half, transportation would go down by half. Yeah. But I think generally your grocery bills and your accommodation bills aren't going to be directly in half.
What's more important for those categories is really like how long you're staying in a place and how fast you're moving. Everything is really dependent on how fast we're moving. So even when you look at this, like, you know, when you look at 12 countries, if you look at those as individual trips that are short trips, they're so expensive, but
it would be pricey
because we're in a position where we're continuously traveling. The one-way flights, the short hops, the slow pace of traveling. I think that's probably one of the biggest contributors to keeping us on a budget.
Totally.
So it's easier to be on a budget the longer you travel.
Yeah.
I mean,
the more flexible you are.
Still end up paying quite a bit. Yeah. So
honestly, I think it's pretty good though.
106 per day. That's not anywhere near our target budget of 70 US a day. I don't think we've ever really hit that.
Yeah, I don't think we mentioned that on this. So when we first left to travel, we were like, we're going to spend 70 US a day, like $100 Canadian. We've never, ever, ever hit that. Not even remotely close. Yeah. But I think that's a good lesson for us. So it's been, you know, if we look at this data, how many months? We did a year, and then what did I say? 15 months. So what is that? 27 months of travel. And we're still averaging like 110 probably between both years, dollars a day US. Yeah. So that's, I think, a pretty good estimate for relatively slow travel. Yeah. I feel pretty firm in that belief. We got a couple questions. I just want to answer these if you don't mind, love. Yeah. So what about costs related to doing these videos and editing? Excellent question. So that generally isn't really in here. That's because at the point of making this data, we separate out kind of the business side of our life. So that's not included in this travel spend stuff. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely money, or there's definitely costs associated to this. Generally,
it's usually just the capital costs of like buying the equipment.
It's the gear.
Gear, and
because most of the things obviously that we film, they are in here because it's the thing that we did in the country. Like it's the activity that we did. We just happened to film it. So that cost is in here. I don't have the numbers on what it costs us to make these videos, to be honest.
No. I mean, if you look at the total cost of our gear is probably a couple $1,000s that we bought over time, or we had beforehand and whatnot. And like software cost, the most expensive one was getting a new laptop
for hardware.
Sorry, and I was gonna say actually a Final Cut editing software, Final Cut Pro. I think we spent $300 on it for a license.
Yeah, and then we have like monthly subscriptions to all the different things that we need in order to bring you guys videos every week, and so that adds up as well. But it's nothing, it's nothing wild once we have the gear.
Yeah, like whether we did YouTube or not doesn't really change these numbers, because Nicole and I are really passionate about making sure that we film and do things on YouTube that we want to do. Yeah. So we don't do something
because it's good for YouTube. We just won't.
we just like, here's the things that we want to do. Like, can we make a video from it? It does. I'll admit that YouTube does push us to do some things, like a little bit more, like try out a bit more food or do some more visits different places. But we don't like pick a country based on YouTube.
No, and I think I guess I feel like there's even things that if we wanted to do something and we're like, oh, that probably won't actually make a great YouTube video, we'll do it anyways and just not film it. So actually the diving is a good example of that I just mentioned. We did some diving in Indonesia. Making scuba diving videos for YouTube usually is kind of a waste, unfortunately. We've discovered nobody really cares. It's a really niche market. It's not like we have a scuba diving channel.
Scuba diving hasn't really exploded on our channel.
No. So we've learned that, you know what? Those are just days for us. And we just put the cameras away and we just go and we do that amazing thing that we love to do. And we don't film it. But yeah, generally the actual content we put on YouTube isn't hugely impacted by the YouTube. I think we just like made that our thing. Oh yeah, sure. We kind of made that our a goal for ourselves when we started the channel. We started the channel just to film our adventures. And that's how we've continued to like try to do this. That's just because that's what we enjoy. Okay. Lots of South Indians live. Oh, in Indonesia. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I could see that. That's some good Indian food there.
Do you guys always get okay, so we'll answer some questions here, and then we should also answer some questions that we had from the last
But if
video.
you have questions based on that data, please dump it in the chat now, and we'll try to answer them quickly.
We're not gonna
Let's
get
try
to.
and
We're gonna try to get
faster,
to. Like,
we're so slow.
We got. I want to say 20 minutes left.
Okay, let's try and answer them. Okay. So, do you guys always get a SIM card for your phone upon arrival? Yes, we do also do eSIMs. I know we talked about Olafly in one of our recent videos. We've used them.
They've been great. Like,
they were so good.
The unlimited data plan is great for a digital nomad.
Has honestly been a lifesaver for us recently. But yes, we always get a SIM. The other nice thing about getting a physical SIM, if you want to get a physical SIM in a country versus an eSIM, is that gives you a local phone number. And so if you want to use the local like rideshare apps or the food delivery service, you need a phone number for that, a local phone number. So that's a little tip for you. How far in advance did you plan your move to another country? Days to weeks, generally.
Yeah, I think we have. So the only thing that really pins our timeline is when we visit people or people
visit us. Yeah.
In some ways, it's actually really good because then it keeps us on some sort of schedule. But
keeps us moving.
A lot of times, it's kind of free flowing, and especially in the first year of travel, like we didn't know we were going to countries until like a week earlier.
Yeah.
A week prior. Now we generally have like a routing. So it's like what we just covered now. We did a good chunk of South America, and then we flew over to India, Sri Lanka, and then made our way to Southeast Asia and kind of did some countries we've never seen before. So we don't necessarily plan each country like ahead of time. We'll just plan like for the next country, and then maybe we have a general understanding that when we get to Singapore, we'll probably go to Malaysia next. Yeah. But we don't always know that to be the case. Sometimes we can get, let's say we got to Singapore, it could have been that we're going to Indonesia next. Or if we
go into an expensive country, we know when we're leaving that country. But besides that, so Singapore and South Korea, we had flights out already or buses out already, or whatever. True. But other than that, we usually just arrive, check it out. We honestly Google what to do in Malaysia when we arrive in Malaysia. This is how we do this. Don't learn from us that way. We could plan better. So do you fly back to Canada? Did I miss one? No. Yeah. Did you fly back to Canada on a set cadence or whenever it's convenient based on your route? Yeah, we just go back to Canada whenever needed. Honestly, we usually are going back because it's like weddings or something like that, or like a special event. So we go home when necessary, but nothing predetermined. Just like the rest of our life, apparently. Are there taxes for Canada? Yes, we're still paying Canadian taxes. Yeah. Do you need a local number to use Uber? And then Peter says there's a prepaid data SIM card wiki, which is really useful for researching SIMs in different countries. I would take Peter's advice. I'm going to do the same and look that up later. Generally, anyone can correct us, but our understanding and our experience with Uber and any of those sorts of apps is you do need a local number.
I don't know about Uber. I know some so Uber, Uber is definitely like available worldwide, but you can actually get more affordable pricing for ride sharing apps if you use the local country's ride sharing apps. Yeah. And a lot of times we've needed a local phone number to do that. So maybe you can use Uber without a phone number. I can't remember. I think you can. But certainly if you want to use like Zomato or Swiggy in India, you're going to need a local phone number. You need
an Indian phone number. When will you finally visit Vietnam with your visa?
Oh, man.
So
Oof.
I think we mentioned we actually visited Vietnam way before YouTube in 2017. Absolutely loved it. There's so much more of it we need to see and want to see. We do not have current plans to go to Vietnam, but we know we'll be back. Absolutely, we'll be back.
Yeah, definitely want to see more.
We need to do
Vietnam.
like the Ha Giang Loop and stuff. It's on my bucket list.
Yeah, Sapa, to Halong Bay.
Okay, out of curiosity, do you generate money from viewings of these videos? Okay, this is actually like a big question that we got a lot of that we didn't answer in our money video from last week because it just wasn't relevant. But basically, do you make money from YouTube? Does it offset travel costs? So we don't make money from lives because they're not monetized. This one's not. I think we monetized the last one. We didn't realize we did that. I'm sorry. We turned it off for this one. I'm pretty sure you shouldn't see any ads. We think. So yeah, generally we make money from YouTube. That's our job. So when we say we're working, we mean we're working on YouTube, on everything that you guys see and everything associated with that. So monetization on YouTube, I'm not going to go through all of that. Someone did ask a bit about that in one of these questions, but like the previous question we didn't answer. But to get monetized on YouTube, you need to hit certain markers, subscriber number, watch time hours, all of those fun things. That happened for us in March of 2022. Yeah. Early March. After
6 months of YouTube, we got monetized.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and what that means is you can finally start to like make a few bucks off of YouTube.
Which we'll probably get to as we answer these questions.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, to answer your question, that is how we are funding our travels now.
Yeah, a lot of our travels, especially in the beginning, was self-funded by us from
we saved for
own
years.
Savings, and then we started making a bit of an income with YouTube, and then just kind of grown over time. But I think we'll talk about it as we go on. There's questions are here. Hey, they're actually more live. Let's just go to this is there's a delay between these.
Oh, really?
A little bit.
Oh, yeah, you're getting different questions than I am. Sorry, our computers are getting us different questions.
But let's do the questions that.
Smart.
Let's do the questions in the that we
have. Okay, I didn't organize these, but yes. Okay. Which ones do we want to do? We're just going to go through some of the questions that we had been asked before and didn't have a chance to answer. I think we've answered a lot of the questions about like the budget and the costs because you guys just saw all of the costs that we spend. What do you want to? What are you thinking about chatting about?
I thought you ordered them.
I didn't in the end. We ran out of time. I mean, we could talk about how you support yourself traveling. We got some questions about that.
This live is planned like how we plan our travels. So typical of us. What was that, sorry?
Questions about how we support our like how are we funding our travels? So many people.
Oh right.
Asked
us
that was basically how the heck are you still traveling? Which
is
a very valid question. I think everyone wants to know how on earth you do this for a long time. Oh, sorry, I'm just laughing at Martin's recent question. That's funny, Martin. No, I haven't done that recently. Yeah, so the answer again is YouTube. So YouTube started to make us money a couple of years ago, and we've just slowly been building it up. Now, when we first started traveling, that was exclusively from savings. We saved up. We were going to save up for 3 years. Then the pandemic hit, so we saved for 4 years because our leave date was delayed by about a year. And so we saved for those years to go. And the first 2 years pretty much was, I mean, we weren't making really any like notable money on YouTube for the first, maybe 2 years almost.
Yeah.
Year and a half, maybe.
Yeah.
And then as we've started to make a bit more money on YouTube through YouTube's like their advertising that they do on the videos that you see. Thank you for watching the ads. If you do, that's how we get paid and continue to travel and make more videos. That has been what has continued to fund us through the past, I'd say. Well, it's growing slowly. As the channel grows, the funds grow. But the other way that we make money through YouTube or through like this work is through our affiliate links, of course. So if you use our affiliate links, guys, thanks. I feel like we never say that, but that actually really impacts our life. More so in the last few months because we've made another packing video and that has helped to generate some revenue through our affiliate links. And then of course through sponsorships. So anytime you guys do see a sponsor on our video, that's just like because you guys keep coming back and keep watching. And so people are reaching out to us to talk about working together. And if we love them, if they're companies that we really like, then we will do that. And that's obviously incredibly helpful as well to allow us to keep going. So
what other questions do we have? Did we answer all the questions?
I mean, I feel like we answered a lot of them through what we just talked about, which is helpful.
Yeah.
Are you guys saving up money to settle somewhere, or are you investing all your money into traveling as many places as possible? I wish I could say that we're just chucking in all our money to travel, but I feel like that would be irresponsible of us at this point. So yes, we're definitely having to. No. Yeah, we're definitely having to continue to like work to put money aside. But there's definitely a tipping point, especially as a YouTube creator, right, where you're just eating into your savings and putting all your effort into making videos, and yet not making enough money to sustain yourself. And then there's a tipping point where you start to finally make enough money to fund the travels and then hopefully put some savings away. So yeah, we're in the tail end of that. Finally.
Are these from both Instagram and?
They are. Can you read them? Sorry, they're kind of small. There we go.
Yeah.
People ask about basically how do we save money? How did you save money to do this? Which is a question that I love, but I mean, the answer truly is we were stingy and we lived below our means for years before doing this.
We were pretty frugal. Nicole and I, luckily, we have very similar passions for travel. Mm-hmm. So we weren't really into, eating out too much or going on, I was gonna say going big trips, but then I guess this is a really big trip.
Well,
but we just put all our money into saving up for,
travel fund.
The travel fund. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did that for years.
We did it for years. Do you want to talk about numbers for that? People ask us about how much money did you save before you left for travel? And I think that's it's kind of a great question to answer, but we'll do it anyway. So, I mean, we started to really actively save, I'd say, it ended up being about 4 years before we left. And so we were putting money into a travel pot. The idea behind the travel pot was we wanted to go for about 16 months of travel. And originally we were supposed to be saving for 3 years and then leaving, but then COVID hit. And so we actually were able to save a lot more money, which is part of the reason we were able to continue traveling, and we're now able to actually do this as our job. Because we had enough money in the travel fund to keep us going longer than we expected. So in the end, by the time we left, you're okay sharing this, yeah? In the end, before we left, we had tucked away for the travel about 100,000 Canadian dollars. So that's about 70,000 US. And I know that sounds like a lot of money. I want to put it in perspective. I think it sounds like a lot of money.
I think it is a lot of money.
I think it is. And I think a lot of people would have very different ideas of what to do with that kind of money. And I totally respect that and get it. But I want to put that in context a little bit. If you think about what we just shared with you, what was that? About 70,000 US dollars, actually. Over that.
Yeah.
If you combine the 2.5 or the 27 months of travel, that was about $70,000. So that was that money. And it's funny when I think back to our life at home, when we were working, we're working easily 40 hours a week. We were actually also students. We did our master's back home for the last 3 years before we left. We were working and going to school at the same time. And we're living this life of it was really hard. It was very busy and we were on go. And on average at home, we were spending, even though we were trying to be really frugal, we were still spending between $6,000 and $7,000 a month on just putting the roof over our head and having 2 vehicles, literally existing and going to work and then going to school. And so it's funny because when I look at our costs now, they're half of that. And we're living this life. So I know it sounds like a lot of money. I just want to put that in context a little bit. Okay, good. So Martin says 70,000 is nothing for the memories. I agree with you. For us, this is 100% worth it. I would repeat these expenses every day of my life forever.
Yeah.
If it meant we got to have these memories together.
Some people call it doing this a trial retirement.
Yeah, well, we joked that it was our practice retirement.
It's our practice retirement. I mean,
now we're working so much, but
certainly things that we have done over the past couple of years that I think would be more challenging in the later years if at our retirement age.
Yeah.
So, do we have a master plan for how that's going to look at the end? We're not exactly sure.
We'll figure that out.
But we are for sure, no regrets on what we've I guess chosen where our money goes.
Yeah. I hadn't really thought how well the numbers matched there.
Yeah.
Actually, that's perfect. And so obviously you can see then, so the travel fund is gone. And so we were really lucky that I say lucky. Miko had the genius plan to start a YouTube channel. I thought he was bonkers and we did it anyway. And now here we are, past that travel bucket money we had, and able to sustain ourselves and still, and actually start to put some money away. So that's been phenomenal. That is the dream for us, and we'll see how long we can sustain that. But that's kind of how that worked for us.
I'll also mention that not all that money was available Once, like we had,
so like we had it sitting in our like in our
we had
checking
different
account.
kind of investments and
Ready to pull though for the travels. It was earmarked for travel.
Good liquid investments, and then we still I think we still have like a bit of a nest egg now if we ever go back home, and we have some retirement stuff.
Yeah, people asked about that. Like, are you just like chucking all your money in? And no, I mean that sounds fun and lovely, but it also sounds terrifying. And we're in our early 30s. Maybe if this was 10 years ago, I'd be like, I don't care if there's $40 in my bank account, but I do. So we're not doing that.
We're definitely at the point now, though, with traveling in YouTube that it's crunch time and that we have to kind of make this keep going.
Make or break.
Support. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, thank you for all your support.
Yeah, thank you guys.
And helping us, continue to support us to make these videos because
it's now funding our life. Like this is now our full-time job for the two of us.
Yeah.
And we have to bring in enough money every month, of course, to continue it, or eventually we would have to call it quits, which would be scary and sad. And we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
We're not thinking about that.
We do. I really do enjoy putting these videos together and like just showing, cool places to visit. And I love what we did for Mongolia. I think that was really cool. I think it's not normally at the top of people's bucket list, but I reading the comments, I feel like we've changed a lot of people's minds about visiting Mongolia, and I think we've put it on their bucket list because of that. So
should have worked with their tourism board. That was a missed opportunity.
Yeah. There's some questions on the chat.
Oh, sorry.
Answer those?
No, you go ahead here if there's some here. And thanks for the cheering us on, folks. I can see on the go with you.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
What about travel in Canada? Is that out of the scope? Travel in Canada, it's a big country.
It's an expensive
even
country.
Though that's where we're from, we haven't actually we haven't actually visited that much.
We've barely seen Canada. It truly is because it's the second biggest country in the world in terms of landmass, and it is incredibly expensive to travel to. So in our previous lifestyle, we when we were working full time and you only got a few weeks of vacation a year, we definitely had dreams of doing the whole thing over land and like taking a month in the summer and just trying to go across Canada. We talked about that lots, and then this came to fruition instead. This travel style and travel life. And so right now there's just no way we could go to Canada and afford to travel Canada. One day we'd love to.
Yeah, I think it's in the future. We definitely want to. We just need to find a way to do it in a sustainable fashion. So I think either it's gonna be some sort of big road trip or
I don't know,
van lifing it. I don't know.
I want to try van lifing. I want to try Mika's like no thanks.
so small. Like my space.
I think it'd be fun, but probably for like a month, maybe max.
Where's the toilet?
In the van. It's in the van.
Okay, answer a couple more questions.
Yes. Sorry, I see the very last question here. I'll go back in a second. But is your health insurance included into the general section of your budget? Yes, it is. So every month we pay. Now it's $45 a month. US. We use Safety Wing. The reason we use Safety Wing is honestly because it is the most flexible. So if you are looking at long-term travel, this is the simplest solution we could find. It's so lovely. It's a monthly subscription, basically. We pay a monthly subscription for health insurance and travel insurance. It also covers flights and stuff, flight delays, all that fun stuff. But yes, it is in the general category.
Yeah. So $50 a person we pay with Safety Wing. It's usually lower premiums for that travel insurance. Sorry, not premiums. Lower like what do you call that? Amounts, like policy amounts.
Oh,
like what's covered.
You think? It's actually pretty decent.
No, it's way lower. It's like way lower than like other travel insurance places.
Oh yeah, you could get. I mean, we're also young, which is nice, right? If you're unfortunately, I think once we hit like 40, the price bumps up and all those things. Yeah. So we're really lucky right now.
No, it's just Safety Wing's more of like a budget.
Oh, fair enough.
Insurance.
I see. Fair enough. Yeah, and there is like a deductible. So I think there's like a $250 deductible or something before you get money back, all that kind of stuff, which is fine with us. I'd rather do that than pay higher price monthly.
Do you have a home base or did you sell your belongings and only have the stuff you travel with you? So we still own our townhouse in Canada. Mm-hmm. We used to have a storage unit filled with just stuff.
Which turned out to be a complete waste of money.
Yeah, which is a waste of money. And we ended up selling all of it. / dispersing the rest of it with your family
and friends.
So we just got rid of that storage unit. So really what we have is our townhouse.
That's it.
Yeah, that property, and then what we have with us now.
Well, and a few buckets at family's house. Thank you everyone in our family who holds a few buckets of our stuff. But the townhouse, by the way, we rent out our home in Canada. So actually right now it's not costing us anything monthly to have it. Someone is effectively paying the mortgage.
Yeah.
Which is wonderful.
But we don't have a home base. We're still kind of nomadic.
No home base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skip the toddler question. Oh yeah, someone said, would you do all this? I think would you continue full-time traveling if you had a toddler?
I've never had a toddler. I don't know. I honestly don't know. It sounds very challenging. I think if we were to do it, we would stay a lot longer in one place. I could see us getting really settled, like at minimum 1 month per accommodation.
To be honest,
because I think it would just be exhausting otherwise.
To be honest, I think it'd be cheaper than doing it than having it at home, like traveling nomadically with a toddler. Would probably be way cheaper.
There are definitely people, like we have some friends online who do this, and they have little ones, and so it's possible. I don't know if we would do it, but they do it, and they seem to love it. So I mean, it's definitely a thing. Orange is not recommended, so I think that's maybe a no. Nah, maybe if you've got one toddler.
I think we answered all the questions
on here. We did, yeah. Okay, we have some other ones here, but I realize it's 11:30, and we don't need to take all of your time. Yeah, I hope we. Mega props to those who travel with toddlers. I agree.
So,
okay, I think we did it. We answered everything.
So we hope you guys enjoyed this live. This is our second ever live, as you can see from the rough start in the beginning. We kind of do we are starting to like. I'm starting to enjoy these more candid conversations about travel and different topics. So
don't you dare bring up the podcast.
No.
We don't want to start a podcast.
If you have another idea of like what kind of travel topic you want us to cover, let us know, and then maybe we'll set up another live to talk about that. And
what? The newsletter.
Oh yeah, forgot to mention. Nicole and I are thinking about starting a newsletter. Oh, we are starting a newsletter.
We are starting a newsletter.
And I think it'll just be kind of like a once a month, update of what's going on for us, at, and like
behind the scenes,
something behind the scenes and stuff.
We're gonna put it in the chat. Can you put it in the chat? We'll put the link in the chat. I do have this link. So if you want to sign up for the newsletter, I mean, go for it. You guys will get the first one. I'm hoping next week, maybe the week after. Our concept is like, let's just do this once a month at the beginning of the month. Don't hold us to a date. We're just saying beginning of the month. And it's just like behind the scenes, some photos that just kind of don't make it anywhere else, tell you what's going on, what our upcoming plans are. So we've just put it in the chat there. We would love for you guys to hop on there and add your name to it if you want to. No pressure. No pressure at all. We do have a couple more quick questions here. I just wanted to say. Joseph says, I've heard.
Whoa, sorry.
Mika's playing our something.
I
want to answer Joseph's question. I've heard mixed reviews of Safety Wing. Have you had to make a travel or medical claim? Yes. I have recently, actually. So I have had excellent experience with they've got a nice chat that you can just access 24/7. And I love it. You can talk to a human being within 1 minute, which is wonderful. That's always been really, really good for me. I've got lots of good information that way. I get really good direction that way. The first few claims I put in with them had been really easy, and I found that I got them approved really fast. I recently had a claim that I'm still dealing with. It's just that I didn't have a lot of documentation because it was a doctor I revisited, and so he didn't really give me anything, which I understand. I should have got more documentation. So as a result of that, they're like, hey, you don't have everything. I'm like, I know, but here's the circumstance. I didn't really get much from this doctor. And so I'm still waiting to hear back from them. So I guess take that for what it is. That's where I am so far in the Safety Wing medical claim swamp. I feel so bad that we missed a few questions, but do you want to keep going? Should we
I think we're good. I see Wyatt and Rika signing up now. Oh, thanks, guys. I think I've seen, some familiar. I think I've seen some of their another content? Travel couple. We love meeting other travelers.
Totally.
Either on the road, we met Ted and Lise not too long ago. So some of our channel members, and then also other travel couples. But I will mention, really quickly, Nicole and I also have channel memberships. So if you guys are interested and want to hang out with us a bit more, we do updates weekly of what we're up to, where we're at, where this Airbnb is. We do
video updates. Yeah.
Last time we did a live as well.
It was our first one. We did a live update. Yeah. We thumbs ourselves up. I don't know if you guys can see that. We can see that on our screen.
So if you are interested in seeing a bit more behind the scenes and weekly updates from us, feel free to join our channel memberships. I think it's less than
shameless plug.
Yeah, it's $5 a month.
Yeah, I think
it's pretty. I think it's pretty decent. And we're trying to figure out good ideas to add more value to the channel memberships. So if you've got great ideas, let us know.
Yeah, we can always.
It's kind of like a Patreon if you're familiar with Patreon, but it's all on YouTube.
I will say there's a couple questions here. So best advice for first-time travelers who want to start out. Honestly, I would say this to any traveler is just lean in. I don't know how Oh, hey, cool. Hi, on the go with YOLO. We got a notification that someone joined us. I don't know if everyone sees this. I'm sorry. We're so bad at these lives.
It's same there.
Sorry. My point is, thanks for joining the channel memberships. Just like lean in. I think for Miko and I think we mentioned this on the last live, if you happen to join that one, is that when we travel, any experience we have, even if we're feeling a little uncomfortable, it's just like we just lean into it. And like to me, that's the point of travel, is to feel a little uncomfortable, to feel okay. Thank you, Peter. To feel like the newness of a place and really like just let it wash into you. I think most people who love traveling kind of get that feeling, and they like that feeling like Miko and I do.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I would say. And as a full-time traveler, that's just going to happen constantly. I will also say, I guess, advice for full-time is give yourself days off. Give yourself room to breathe.
Yeah.
I think that's actually part of the reason we started a YouTube channel, is because we realized we had 6 months with no YouTube channel and we loved it, but we really wanted these like down days of like, we didn't want to go out and explore every single day.
Yeah.
It sounds silly, but it gets tiring.
Yeah.
And so Mika was like, I want to start this YouTube channel. We have like kind of really useful, productive days where we don't do anything. Like we don't go out and explore a place, but we still feel like we're really doing something and working towards something. And so that's actually a huge part of what prompted, I think, you to say, let's do YouTube. But I think if you're not doing YouTube, I think you need the same thing. You kind of need down days.
When you do like longer term travel, you definitely have to switch your mindset from like vacation holiday mode to like almost just living abroad, because you're not always going out to see like amazing places, although that's what it might look like on YouTube. That's like one day out of the 2 weeks, and then there's other parts of the 2 weeks it's like working on like our stuff on YouTube, if you're doing YouTube, for example, or figuring travel planning, doing groceries, or I don't know, having bottles of water.
Honestly, doing like the small tasks, like laundry takes so long when you're traveling full time. Like those little life tasks, dealing with like the admin from your home country, because there's always still going to be admin from your home country. So all those things really do add up and take time. So yeah, it's a bit of a mind shift change. That's what our experience is, at least. Oh, someone says they're starting ours in October. I'm so excited for you. So excited for you. That's just amazing. Lise, they're also full-time traveling, says that, she seconds that. Dive into travel. Don't overthink it. There's so much to experience and you'll love every minute. I totally agree with you, Lise. Yeah. Okay, should we? I think we've answered almost all of them. I'm sorry if we missed your question. We did our best. I know.
We just do a full screen.
Miko and I could talk forever. We're chatterboxes.
Also, I am thinking about doing a podcast. So if you guys are interested in that,
I'm not ready.
Know.
I am not.
I like these conversations. If you got more topics and subjects that you want us to cover, that would be kind of, I think that'd be good. Let us know, and maybe we'll set up we'll do this again on the live.
We could just do a general chat too. That's fine. We just like having a topic because it gives us some direction. So thank you guys so much for joining us and tuning in, and hopefully you enjoyed today. And
so that you can watch this again on our channel under the live tab. You can watch the replay of this entire hour and a half. Wow.
I know.
We are chatty.
Thank you. I know. That's what I mean.
We are chatty.
Yeah, okay, fine. It's me. It's mostly me. I know. Okay, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will let you go. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your day. It's Saturday morning for us, so we're going to enjoy the rest of our day. And we'll catch you guys at another live at another time.
Bye, guys.
Take care.
Bye.